look at the E-Man's beautiful face. Oh,
Thank you very much. I didn't shave because I'm getting ready to do more cobalt blue, and that's so I got to shave off my little goat, but it's supposed to look scruffy, and I have my cobalt blue costume already in a bag.
Yeah, ready to go.
Jackson Hobbs. I play Jackson Hobbs, a detective who was like lost in the 70s and 80s, and he always makes references to like Dukes of Hazzard, Magnum PI.
When are you gonna film that?
We've already filmed quite a few. There's about 5 segments already up for podcasts, and we're going to start finishing it up here probably in the next month or so. We've already talked about it. We've got the script going. It's one of the only things that I've filmed that nobody gets killed in. But there's a lot of really cool behind the scenes things, just like there is in everything we do, where people actually get hurt while we're filming or arrested, you know.
Who films that?
Joel Rook and Brent Jones, Luciferious Productions, and we've done a couple of full-length movies, and just like Jono used to do. We started out thinking, let's do podcasts, but then, you do something a couple of times, and then you think, gosh, let's just make this a full-length. My theory has always been, start out thinking you're going to do a podcast. Once you get about 15 of them done, put them all together and make a film.
It's like making a movie in tiny increments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in this new thing that we did on Sato, we put that cartoon effect on it. So we've got a new project that we're working on that we've probably got about 9 episodes done. And it's got clones and futuristic, what's going on in the future, and a guy that's trying to destroy the world because he thinks man doesn't deserve it anymore. So it's kind of like Barack Obama.
Wait, what's that project?
I can't say the name of it.
Can't say the name yet?
Yeah. It's not really out yet.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to keep it a secret, but we're still working on it. We work on it downtown. We've filmed most of it downtown in apartments and flats and stuff.
So is that still going to have that cartoon effect that you had on the Sato 48?
Yeah, that was our our trial thing to see if that looked kind of cool, and I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool too.
It's a little different. There was a movie that came out. It's been probably 10 years ago, and all the big time. I think Keanu was in it, and Courtney Cox or somebody like that, and they put that effect on it when they first came out with that effect. So we were just kind of like, hey, it's been long enough, people have forgotten about that. Let's try it ourselves.
I remember that movie. Actually, I saw the movie, I didn't think it was that good, and then I went to the library and picked it up, and I read the entire thing while I was sitting there, and I walked outside and it was dark. I was like, that was a pretty good book. It was Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Wrote that.
Yeah.
He wrote all kinds of crazy, like drug-induced stuff.
Yeah, we more alcohol-induced, but that's what keeps the thing going,
So, Cobalt Blue, do you film that here in town, or is that filmed somewhere else?
Yeah, it's filmed here in town. A lot of it was filmed right over here off of Sunshine, 65, and at my house, of course, where we film so many things, and any kind of location we can find around here. Filmmakers, if you're going to make a film and you're going to brandish a weapon of any kind, whether it's fake or not, make sure that you call the Springfield Police Department and tell them that you're going to be filming. And we had numerous cameras in a parking lot over here in an apartment complex. You could tell that there were cameras, and we kept doing this scene over and over where a guy just comes into the house, the apartment, with a gun. Someone apparently driving by or across the street saw it happening only once instead of the 5 times we did it, called the police. We're sitting there, and I'm looking out the window, and I said, hey, those guys, you didn't give them their police officer uniforms that we got for them. Mm-hmm. Yet they're in your back of your car, right? And he said, yeah. I said, well, there's a couple of guys wearing police officer uniforms hiding behind cars out here. So when they walk out, we immediately see 12 guys with big guns and shields. It's like, everybody hit the ground.
It's like, yes, sir.
Yeah, it was really insane. And we all got handcuffed along with 3 children under 12 and a guy from Croatia that was here as a student, exchange student. He had the greatest time in his life. He thought it was fantastic.
I went to America and I got arrested. It was wonderful.
Out of all of us, only one of us got arrested, and that was Joel. And he's the one who always is the fall guy. I always know if Joel doesn't do something stupid or something happens to him, I'm the next one.
So Why did he get arrested? Are you
Oh,
at liberty to say that, or unrelated?
It was an unrelated thing.
Okay.
It was like a warrant for parking ticket in Branson or something. Like from 3 years ago. It was ridiculous.
So it was nothing related to like brandishing guns?
No. It was my 9mm, which is registered to me. There was no clip in it. There was no bullets anywhere. And we told them, and they handed it back to me and said, "Put it in your car and make sure you do this again. You call us."
Yeah. It's cool that you can call them and do that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't mind us doing things, stupid things, as long as you warn them, so that if someone calls and says, "Hey, we're seeing this,"
yeah, like it's okay, it's under control. The E-Man's doing it.
We're watching. We've got our eye. Don't get upset.
We were both at the Carnival of Ink yesterday. I was hosting it. It was a whole lot of fun. I had the IndieMO stage downstairs. I do have the list.
The list of the bands, because there was a fantastic bands downstairs, and you did a great job.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I was so excited to see you, even though I didn't recognize you at first because of your face paint.
Yeah, I had my face professionally airbrushed yesterday to look like a bleeding skull zombie type thing. Actually, you can go. I'll put the link in the comments section below or whatever, but you can go. I made videos all day. And I think...
Did you get videos of the bands and videos of introducing the band?
Yeah, I had a couple videos of the bands and stuff, but mostly it was just me wandering around, acting like a goofball, talking to a lot of the vendors. And I didn't realize I made so many of them, but I think there are like 23 or something like that on there.
Great.
I went back and watched them again, and I was like, oh man, I don't remember making this one. I must have had a few cocktails. But it was good. It was good.
The Shrine is always a great place to play, and there was a lot of bands that had never, most of the bands that played last night had never played at the Shrine, and to be able to be on that big of a stage with that many people there and all the vendors, the great artists and stuff there, it was really fun. Me and Hippie Tim do the Hippie Tim's Toys for Tots kind of thing every November. I think it's the 21st of November this year we're booked, because the Shrine is... loves us, and we drive motorcycles down into there and have a motorcycle competition, and people bring toys, and the Marines are always there, and it's a great time. We also get a lot of bands that have never played there before at those occasions too. And of course, we try to keep that more, with the blues bands or the rock bands, as opposed to like yesterday. We had a lot of great metal bands and supporting the alternative. Well, not alternative. It's not like college rock. It's but bands that have screamy vocals and searing guitars, and that do Pantera covers and things like that, rather than Cheap Trick and REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, I said on more than one occasion. Actually, I felt like I was saying it every single time. Anytime I would announce a band, I'm like, all right, now these guys are going to melt your face off. And I'm like, man, every single band in here is melting people's faces off. But I got the list. The Blinding Lights started it out, and then Ready the Monument played. Kenny White's band Without Angels. Did you get a chance to hear
I didn't get to see him, but I've known Kenny since before he thought he was a singer.
Oh yeah. Back in the day when he played guitar for like Explicit.
Yeah.
And
he sang for OEO when I opened the band that I used to mix and scratch on before he was singing it, and he was in Mr. Blackwell. I think it was one of his first bands.
Yeah.
I think the story is that he was in a car wreck, and when he woke up from his accident, he decided he was going to be a singer and a rock star. He's pretty much done it as much as anybody around here could.
He really has. He's been going for years and years. Him and I think Joe Bridges and Kenny have known each other forever, because they knew each other from skating.
Uh-huh.
And then here we are years later.
I'm older than them, so I didn't know them from skating at that time. I was skating in late 70s and 80s. Then I went to the military, so then when I came home, I wasn't supposed to skate anymore, because you can't have a motorcycle and don't ride a skateboard. No pads. You
gotta be cool. After Without Angels, Six played. It was the first time I actually got to see Six in concert. They were one of those bands that whenever Joe put out the call for everybody to, register your band to play at Carnival of Ink, everybody showed a lot of interest, and Six had tons of people online saying, have Six play. And so they were on the set, and they played, I think they played at around 4 o'clock. This says that they started at 3, but we were running an hour behind, pretty much.
I got there a little after 4. I think I heard some of their set. That was good. Yeah.
And then Ram, which is an IndieMO band. You guys can go to the website, and there's links to their music and stuff, IndieMORecords.com. And check out Ram. It's Jacob Conti and his brother Ryan, Connor Johns, and John Follis. They're a bunch of really young guys, but they're really talented musicians. They got together at the School of Rock.
Oh, yeah.
One of those things. So
yeah.
They all got together. I think it's the Springfield Music School of Rock.
Oh, it's not the School of Rock? Okay, yeah, it's out there on
I don't know
Republic Road.
I don't know.
There's a commercial. They have a commercial.
They have a commercial for the School of Rock?
Yeah, I've seen it. And then they do. They take kids and they say, hey, if your kid wants to be a rock star, it's basically for parents to, fundamentally live through their, whatever it is. I'm living through my child.
Oh, yeah, vicariously.
I'm vicariously living through my child being a rock star.
Whenever I first heard that we were going to have a School of Rock here in town, years ago, I was like, that's pretty badass, because that Jack Black movie had just come out,
right.
not too long before that.
I think that's kind of what they loosely based it upon that premise. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But actually, at Classic Rock Coffee, they have the School of Rock. They have a few bands that get together, like the School of Rock Kids band, and they come out and they have shows. And I think they do it cartoons too.
Yeah, I know they've done it at cartoons too. Yeah, I was going to go one night, but I ended up doing something else. But I sent some people there. I watched it vicariously.
Retrobane. Have you seen Retrobane before?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they played after Ram. Man, I keep wanting to say all of these bands rocked really hard, but I don't know, man. It was just an entire day of those bands they're just like they're metal bands. They're hard rock bands, and this town is completely full of them.
We've gone through like phases, where there was a bunch of bands, and then like you talked about Kenny, there's so many people like Kenny and like Fester and those guys, and of course Carla, Chris,
mm-hmm.
All of those guys, and now with Public Assassin coming back, it's amazing because those guys have. When you talk about Public Assassin, those guys are the grandfathers of metal here in town. They're the ones that started it back in the day. When Richard Christie was here, and of course, Matt Browning and Greg and Steve, and they just well. And now Donnie playing with them since Joe can't play. It's just amazing that you've got all these guys that have been doing this stuff forever, and they have gone away, moved to other states, and now they've come back, and they're basically kind of headlining big shows and stuff, at the Shrine.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And they're all like almost they're about my age. They're pushing, half a century, and they're up there just metal.
Public Assassin was badass. I actually did get to, I snuck away for a little bit between sets, and I went up there originally to shoot like a little promo video to show people what was going on at the carnival, and I'm like, who the hell is this band? Like, they were badass. Every single guy in that band has massive chops.
Oh man!
So I go up there to the stage, and it's the big stage at the Shrine, so they had the light rig going, and they had. Just the atmosphere on the stage looked visually amazing.
They were the first band that were on the drum riser.
Yeah, I think
all
so.
of the other bands were set down in front of them, and then even Troy and Curmudgeon were down in front of them. And then when Public Assassin played, Matt had his drums up on the riser, and they got to pull the curtain back. I know, I bet he just felt like, all right.
And the view from the stage was really cool too. There were a few things on Facebook where people were like, "This is the crowd we're playing to," and you could see all the booths, all the people getting tattoos.
Oh yeah.
The crowd down there, and it was just an amazing show. I don't know if I'm even supposed to talk about it, but I saw earlier somebody said that we need to do the Carnival of Ink next year, and Joe Bridges hinted at maybe a 2-day event for next year.
Wow. Well, there was so many vendors and so much great art, and I'm sure it works kind of like Chili Cook-Off or Wingapalooza or Rockin' Ribs, which I know we didn't get as many people as they got because it was the same night, but at least it wasn't next door, so it took all the parking, since they put it out there at the fairgrounds. To be able to actually do tattoos right there on location, I'm sure they had to have the inspectors come in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
The fact that they're allowing to do it, so a 2-day event, heck, we could totally fill that up.
And, with a one-day event, it's kind of hard for some people to schedule things because, people have to go out of town, they've got family stuff. But with a 2-day event, there's a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, and then, if you're going to do it this time of year, which is a good time of year to do things, into April, beginning of May, like you said, sometimes you can't schedule it. And then, of course, there's other events going on.
Yeah.
I knew numerous people that were like going, man, no one's going to go to Rock and Ribs and then pay money to come into this too,
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is metal and tattoos. That's Rock and Ribs. And they broadcast, they talk about it on the radio. It's family-friendly music. Oh, okay, they're going to do some Cheap Trick covers. Okay.
Yeah. It was basically, I think Brothers Robertson actually played there. Have you heard of Brothers Robertson before?
I think I have. I'm not real familiar. I think I've heard the name. People spout names to me all the time of bands.
Yeah, this past year they won, don't blame me on the comment section if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the title that they won in Nashville was Best New Country Act of the Year.
Yeah.
They won like $100,000. And they're two guys that I've known for pretty much ever since about 9th grade, Rhett and his little brother, Brendan. And they're just phenomenally talented guys. But yeah, I thought I saw that they were like headlining at the Rock and Ribs this year.
They might have, yeah. Because I had people, we had people asking me, it's like 2-3 weeks ago, can you get a bunch of shirts done for this band? And I think that was one of them, and some Sister Lucille or somebody like that who was played it out there, I think, and then they played. A lot of bands did that double up thing, like you said, They played like 2 or 3 shows, like they played there and then they played over at Cartoons later. I remember back in the day, bands used to do that all the time, and for it to come back around full circle and to be able to have those things. Maybe we're going to have it to where the bands actually make a little money when they play as opposed to paying to play.
Yeah.
It seems like we've moved to the West Coast all of a sudden, But that's cool. I mean, everybody loves doing it, and at least you're not paying $500, I think the bands had to sell tickets, which, like I've always said, if you're not a band of orphans and you have friends, then you've got family and friends, and surely somebody can dish out a little cash to come and watch you.
Yeah.
Our new bass player, his dad came all the way from Texas, and it was kind of like a family reunion kind of thing, and he didn't know he was going to show up, and when he saw him there, he was just like, thought he better put his shirt back on and stop showing off the abs.
Oh, yeah?
Those kids are great. Carla has worked so hard for so long on, she used to have sport. Satanic, priestess ordering ritualistic killings.
That's what sport stands for?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And so, then she changed it, and she did this and that, and it was called Silent End, which is named after her father, who was, he had a brain aneurysm years ago, and he can't speak, but he's like Iron Man. He builds these things to where you can ride in a wheelchair. Wow. He's just an awesome guy. And then Curmudgeon came along. She got with Chris, and we had Ty played guitar for a while, but then she found Matt Newkirk and got Keon on bass, and they're just, you got the old dude on drums who's been doing it forever. He's a metal guy, loves Star Wars, has them tattooed all over his legs, and and you got Carla, who's the 6-foot blonde-haired, blue-eyed metal chick that says, "No, everybody, be careful in the pit. Help that guy up." And this violated whore.
Yeah. The drummer is the big fan of Star Wars. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Have you taken him to Skywalker Ranch?
He's seen Skywalker Ranch, and he's like, he doesn't like it. He's just too big of a fan. He has all kinds of toys and mementos in his room and stuff, and he's got the great tattoos, and he keeps getting more.
I'll do a quick shout out to the other bands that were playing. After Retrobane played, then Driven Down took the stage at about 8:15. Shangri-La. Those guys are
Shangri-La. I've known Billy forever, and
yeah, man, they're just nice guys.
Yeah.
It's weird that you get a metal band and you think of these guys are like hard asses and like they're going to be just these huge dickheads. But really, I mean, I don't think that there was one dude like that in the entire show, like either in Shangri-La or in any other people's bands. I mean, everybody was really nice. The vibe was really cool. The music was hard. The lyrics might be hard, but it was a really good, welcoming event, and everybody knows each other in the music scene typically, so it was kind of like a family reunion in a way.
It was so awesome to see, the bass player for Troy, his dad used to be in a band called Geo,
I remember Geode.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen those guys in forever, and I've done shirts for Troy, and when I saw them, and and I saw his dad, and he's like, man, it's so good to see you, and then seeing, like I said, seeing Kenny and seeing Billy, and and so many of these guys like them, they bring new blood in, I know that Billy's band isn't the band that he had when I introduced him at homegrown music for Q102 12 years ago or something. It's like insane.
A lot of these guys are really young, like Six. Those guys are, I don't know, I would guess early 20s. I don't Facebook stalk these guys or anything. Again, Ram, those guys, I think Jacob is 21, but he's the only one who is 21.
And the rest of them are, yeah.
And those guys are really talented. And then
he's not the designated driver.
I think his girlfriend is the designated driver, but actually,
and she's not even 16.
No, she's not 16. And Crowning Alice, they played after Fleas and Heartburn. And Crowning Alice, those guys are all relatively young too. And it's two brothers. One's on the drums and the other's the singer. I don't know. Have you seen them?
No, but I saw their merch booth, and they were set up, and they had a really, really good thing going. And their people were just, hey, come here, look at this. They're going to be playing, and
they know how to market. That's one thing that I've noticed. A lot of local bands are starting to get the idea about marketing and things. You can't just put a couple CDs in a box on a table anymore and just expect people to go over and buy them.
No, you need T-shirts and banners and stickers. Things like that I can make.
Yeah, exactly. And stage dressing. Do you have a website where people can order stuff?
No, but I usually they want me to do Facebook, but I don't really have the internet at home. I need to get one of those semi-smartphones or something where I can have the internet, like that Wi-Fi kind of thing. So I
get the old flip phone stuff?
Yeah. No. I have, but I don't know how to use it. I have a Hello Kitty phone.
Oh, you have a smartphone?
Is it smart? Is it smart? But it won't do the. It says it will turn into a hotspot, but then it tells me no. Sorry, you don't have service to do that.
I don't even know how to turn this on. Is this dead?
No, it might be. I don't know. It's probably on that side.
Oh, there. Oh, it did it. Okay. This is a
LG.
It's an LG.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get Facebook on here, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. So I could do.
I might have
Facebook
just killed
thing.
your excuse. Dustin's over there going, yeah, no, don't get Facebook. Dustin, you don't check your Facebook ever, I don't think. Well, no, that's not true. Okay.
I don't.
I'll give you credit.
I used to be really, really internet savvy, I mean,
back in dial-up days?
Yeah. Well, when I was on the air and I had computers and access to this and that.
Especially apps. The more apps that you have running slows down your phone and stuff like that. So just use one
like
app.
A computer, yeah.
Just a browser, tabs.
You brought something up that's really good, though, and it kind of kick-started this conversation. There's a lot of bands out there who have good merch, but there's a lot of bands out there who don't know how to get good merch. And you make a lot of T-shirts. What all services can the E-Man provide a band if they need some kind of a merch?
Yeah, I do T-shirts. I'll do designs. If you have a design, I can develop it to print it. I can get stickers made. We do banners. We can get banners made. And then of course, I do. Like you said, I make costumes and I make props, and we're doing some DVD things, like you're saying, a box with the CDs in it. I just want a box. I'm making a display. So I just take a box and I cut it and I do this to it and put some foam in it and spray it, and then we go and we print out whatever you want and we layer it on the box, and then you can set that at somewhere like Stick It or CD Warehouse or somewhere like that, and and instead of walking in and going, hey man, you put my CDs in here, and you go, hey man, look at this, I have a little display, It'll hold 20, and I'm going to put 10 in it, so it looks like somebody's been buying them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. You got to market it. You got to be a little savvy about it. I've been doing this for back in the 80s. I used to do stuff for bands, make banners and T-shirts and stuff. So I have a little bit under my belt.
How do they contact you? Actually, you know what I can do if you want? I can set up a page on the IndieMO Records website.
That would be awesome.
So what? I can put some examples of some stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. We'll do that tonight. And so if you're listening to this right now, you can go on the website. You can check out some of the stuff that the E-Man's done for bands. And also, you can send him an email directly on the website. I'll set up an email. So all they have to do is just type in who they are, their contact information and what they need, it'll just get sent directly
That's
to
awesome.
you.
I like working in congruent with people, because we talked about that earlier too. That there's a lot of people out there that do T-shirts. There's a lot of people out there that do podcasts and stuff. And if we all work together, then it's just going to be one big congruent thing, as opposed to people bumping heads and thinking this and that. We talked about IndieMO, and I was on there a couple of times. I've known Eric and
we've both known Eric for years. You've known him longer than I have.
And I don't even know what he's doing now. I'm sure he's doing okay, because he's not doing that kind of stuff anymore. But it's good when people can work together, and if you can do it where you tie it all into one site and everybody's incongruent. Like I'm more than happy to help people. Ilda Morte, one of the bands that played. Did you?
Yeah, I saw Ilda Morte. Actually, they played at 10 o'clock. They rocked my face off. Every single band there, man, they all rocked my face off.
They know how. Did you see their merch?
I did see their merch. Yeah.
They have the most bizarre. They had glass beer mugs, the nicest glass beer mugs I'd ever seen, for $5.
Wow.
I was like, man, I want a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to open up a bar. Like
the Ilda Morte bar.
They had dugouts.
Oh yeah, I did not see those.
There were wood-burned dugouts. They had
Ilda Morte.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I burned their screens for them, and I gave them a screen printing machine. An old printer of mine. I said, hey, this is sitting in my garage. Actually, it was in my shed. It's falling apart.
It was in Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, it was inside Skywalker Ranch. And I said, man, if you guys want to come up and get it, and if you need screens burned, I'll burn you some screens. I'll get you a new squeegee. Keep using your water-based ink, because I know you don't have a dryer and you don't want to do that. You can just print them and hang them up. And they told me the other night, they said, we might need some new screens.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll burn them for you. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to help people do their own stuff. That motivates me, and that really freaked me out. That, man, hey, where'd you get those things done?
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually do the sandblasting on that or whatever it is? And I think no, they bought a kit and you cut it out with an X-Acto blade what you want. And you stick a sticker on the glass, and then you paint this stuff on it, and you let it sit for a few hours. Then you wash it off with water, and it eats into the glass just a little bit.
Yeah, the etching.
Yeah, and so I was like going, you could do it like multi. You could do different layers when it in deeper. And they're like, well, no, man, you're just too crazy. It's too much trouble. It's too much trouble, man.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna make the mug go from $5 to $50. This is gonna be a $50 mug. But after Ilda Morte played, actually, I don't know. Have you heard the Violet Hour before? I think that they actually played at the Women Who Rock.
Yeah, I didn't go to that, but I heard. Yeah, what was the women part in that?
The Women of Rock. It was a bunch of bands. I don't know if all of them were local, but there were just a lot of bands, and they all had female front ladies.
At least front. They weren't just like the bass player.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. They were like they sang and played the guitar, or sang and played keyboards.
That's
cool. That's
so
very
it was
awesome.
like Paralandra played it, and so because they got
Violet
Cassandra,
Hour.
The Violet Hour. Violet Hour is from Arkansas. They're not technically local, but this whole hillbilly area, everything's local. Really.
We've Curmudgeon, back when it was sport, played down in Fayetteville and played one of those like Women Who Rock kind of things, and it was mainly metal bands.
Yeah,
and it was now.
Women can scream, man.
Yeah, Apnea.
And that's not sexist or anything.
Apnea, if you've seen Apnea, Ann plays bass in that, and then she had Backhoe Butchery where, she played in that, and I think they went down there and played. So they allowed, anybody who had a band with women in it
that's
to
cool.
play. But up here, I think, to me, you need to have a woman front. That's the way it rocks. I used to be a very, back when I was young, Joan Jett and Hart. Oh, come on.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go.
Then Pat Benatar came along, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, man.
That's pretty cool.
Hell is for children.
Who's that one White Winged Dove band that I hate? It's got the goat singer. Yeah, she sounds like a goat. Stevie Nicks.
Oh. Just like the wild. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Rihanna.
I'm not a real big In This Moment fan. Just not. And
I've never heard that. I know one time I was playing a show at Nathan P. Murphy's. That's right, I said I played a show at Nathan P. Murphy's. And across the street was Chevelle, and then that one band who does that "Get Off on Me" or whatever song. What is that? I don't listen to a lot of the radio music. I listen to, if you talk about local
Hailstorm.
music, Hailstorm. That's who it was. Yeah. If you talk about like national acts like that, like Creed, and I don't know anything about that, but local bands, that's pretty much all I listen to.
And that's great to have a place where you can come and hear it. I mean, if you're supplying it to the ears of the many that are here in the Springfield area. Of course, when you're on the internet, you're across the world. So
yeah. If you're listening to this, you probably do know about it, but we've been putting out since January monthly compilation albums, 3 bands each. We do a show that's tied to it, so there's a show and a CD every month, and it's the same 3 bands that are on the album as playing the show. But the first one was Todd Osborne. You might know him from Canto 17. He's a great acoustic artist, great singer, and just an all-around great guy. Him, Jacob Conti from Ram, and then I was actually on this first one with some demos that I had, and this was just whenever IndieMO was starting out to do the compilation albums. So we've got that one, and then February had Ready the Monument, Kursk, and Heavy Buffalo. Actually, Classic Rock Coffee is where we've been playing most of these shows. The first one was at Nathan P. Murphy's, and then the subsequent after that, they've all been at Classic Rock. It's a really great space in there. I don't know. If you've ever been in there, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but it's weird to go into a coffee shop and see what I consider it one of the best small venues in just this part of the state.
I saw the pictures that you showed me, and I've never been there, and I'm like, because I'm not really a coffee drinker, and I'm thinking, well, that looks really cool if they're actually doing things like that. I mean, I hear it advertised all the time that they support radio, and so that might be when I was saying, oh, well, they're on the radio all the time.
Wait, were you on the radio?
I was on the radio all the time for a long time.
Yeah, you were.
That was back when it was cool, man.
Yeah, being on the radio used to be cool.
Now it works.
It's changed. The whole format's changed with media. The way the internet has changed everything. Everybody's listening to Spotify and Pandora and YouTube. I've listened to a lot of music on YouTube.
Well, back in the day, the Buggles said that video killed the radio star, and now the internet's killing the video star and the radio. For a short time, a couple of years ago, it's probably been right at a little bit over 5 years since I've been away from radio. And a couple of years ago, I tried to get on. I got on at Myers, and it's all talk radio, jock radio, this and that and the other, and infomercial stuff. And then, of course, Wayne Glenn does his old record collector thing and actually still spins records on the radio station. And so but all I did was run the board. I didn't talk, because I was afraid to talk, because I just knew that if someone goes, hey, that's E-Man, they'd call it, go, E-Man, play some Slayer.
Yeah.
Like going, sorry, we got some, swing music coming up next,
Yeah, Jimmy J and the big band.
Yeah. It's like, and now we've got a sample of, Mayberry RFD,
Yeah. You can check the IndieMoRecords.com website and go to the upcoming local events section on there. I put a bunch of exclamation points on the left. You can just click that. And pretty much any local show that I hear that's going on, I've been putting on there because I just want people to get out and go see local bands. I mean, you can pay $30, $40 to go see, Hinder or whatever coming through town. But honestly, we've got enough talent in this city and the surrounding outlying little towns that you don't have to go and pay a whole bunch of money to see a band just to hear a song that you recognize from the radio. Pay $5. Pay $10.
There's so many little venues here in town. Mm-hmm. Like we talked, Lindbergh's, even like Dennis's place, the Blue Room. And there's on any given night there's something going on there. Mm-hmm. So hey, you only have Mondays and Tuesdays off. There's probably something going on out there that, like you're saying, you can pay $5. You can go in, play some pool, have a beer, maybe have a sandwich or something, and watch some really good local music. And it's not all. Sometimes it's not all metal, it's blues and rock and everything, Mm-hmm. And that's, I have a lot of friends that, asked me about, you and Carl have been together forever, and you all are such a wild, you always do things. And I said, yeah, we go out, we check out music, we go and we have dinner and we say, hey, let's just go and see what's, just because she sings in a metal band doesn't mean she doesn't like disco.
Yeah, exactly. You can like any kind of music.
And, some people don't like certain kinds of music. That's fine. This is America. You can have it your way,
Yeah.
But,
Well, in Springfield, we've got enough bands that there's literally a talented band. I mean, we've got hundreds of bands here in town. I don't know if people actually realize that.
Oh.
But there are hundreds of bands, every genre that you can think of.
It's like Reverb Nation. Go in there and type in Springfield, and it'll just keep filing down.
Yeah. And, like you were talking about smaller venues, different venues. Misty's place over on Commercial Street. Do you know Travis Tuck? From Tuck and Abney, him and Shane Abney did the acoustic duo thing for a long time. Dart Frog, he's in this new band called Dart Frog, and they do like kind of grunge, like 90s music, and they're playing May 1st.
Nirvana-ish kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're playing May 1st at Misty's place, and then on the 14th, there's the Alter Psych Rock Festival at the Outland Complex. You can go, there's dozens of amazing bands that are going to play there. It's $30 for a 3-day event. So for the amount of money that you would pay to go see one band, one time, one night, get drunk and not remember it, you can go for 3 nights and do exactly the same thing. So it'll be cool. It's May 14th through the 16th. And then, again, Tuck and Abney. Tuck and Abney's back. Actually, Shane moved to Portland for a while.
Right, yeah.
So he was, I don't know if he was hand drumming up there. I don't think he was doing anything with music, but him and his wife moved up to Portland, and then almost a year to the day, they moved back. But Tuck and Abney's back at Misty's place, so 1109 East Commercial Street. You guys can go down. The music starts at 8:30, so there's always something going on, and you can go. I'm getting this directly off of our website. Mr. Producer sent it to me.
Mr. Producer.
Mr. Producer. But,
Get your hand out of your ass.
Mark Levin.
Yeah, that's funny that we listen to talk radio a lot. We were talking about Dana Lesh, and she's actually from the Ozarks, and I was lucky to be the first person to introduce her back to the Ozarks when she took over Dennis Miller's spot on the radio. So that was and I talked about my cat that listened to her. My cat used to be my manager.
Oh, really?
He's a killer. My cat turned 14 last week.
Your cat is an immortal.
Yeah. And he's, a big, furry, orange and white cat with a big C on his back.
Yeah.
And
what's your cat's name?
Creamsicle.
Nice.
Of course, he likes to say, my name is Creamsicle.
Creamsicle.
Yeah.
Dustin, isn't your cat... Dustin's cat is funny because it doesn't really have a real name, I don't think.
It's called a cat.
Yeah. She has several names. I call her Kitty Kitty. Pickles is a real popular. Hey, the other day, before Carnival of Ink, I booked a few bands that weren't going to be playing at the Carnival of Ink. I booked Plymouth Junction over at Patton Alley Pub. Dead Nettles played, and so did Kill Crows. Have you heard Kill Crows yet?
No.
Kill Crows is one of those bands that you can listen to their recordings, and they're good, but they're one of those bands that once you hear them live, I could literally sit there and drink all night.
Just watch them just really make a good show, yeah.
They could all just sit down. It's the music, man. Their music's amazing. They've got Corey on the cello.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Damien's, sings and plays guitar, and then they've got another guitar player. Excuse me for not knowing his name off the top of my head, but yeah, they're amazing.
Dead Nettles. Again, I love Patton Alley.
Okay, yeah,
Yankton, hanging out with Yankton.
The show went over really well. Dead Nettles is Devin Keaton, and then Brandon Tracy from Grandma Strange. He plays drums. It's a really stripped down set too because Devin plays acoustic guitar, Brandon plays a snare and a floor tom.
Wow,
and that's it.
Stray Cats-ish.
Yeah, it's just stripped down music, and it's like, I don't know, hybridized folk. It's like aggressive Americana music. So the whole show, it's all kind of the same music style. It kind
folkish genre of music. So.
Yeah, it really kind of reminded me of maybe Murder by Death, that kind of stuff. But I love that kind of music, so that's why typically when I'm booking a show, it's either because I know it'll help the community or I just want to go to see a show. And I'm like, hey, it's an opportunity for me to get my favorite bands
I have
together.
the night off, and I want to go see some music.
Yeah.
I'm going to book a show.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's how it goes. This is Plymouth Junction. That was Plymouth Junction, and a little bit of the music that they played live. I just had my Tascam set up there by the soundboard, and I recorded some of the stuff. It was hooked directly into the board, but I was having some technical difficulties with that. But it was a great band, great show, and actually it was just all-around great thing. I need to say thank you to Yankton Southern again. He does the booking and runs the sound up there. He had to duck out a little bit, so I got to run sound at Pat and Alley. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really good area, too. It's a good little room. I had this lady come up to me, and she was like, hey, can I give you a suggestion? She was drunk, dude. Completely drunk.
Most of those people have great suggestions.
Oh, yeah. She's like, the drums are too loud. Can you turn them down? And it was Brandon Tracy playing drums with a snare. Nothing was mic'd on that. It was an acoustic kind of thing. The only thing that was mic'd was, I think, the acoustic guitar and Devin's vocals. But I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and no. Just, you're drunk. Get out of here. But
throw him your panties and tell him to shove them up in there.
Yeah, muffle it a little bit.
Muffle it.
Put a blanket. I think what I'm going to do now is the end part of this radio show. I'm just going to play a whole bunch of local music so you guys can listen to it. I mean, hell, that's the whole point of this, right? Is just listening to local music. All right, well, I just want to say thanks to the E-Man for joining me on the IndieMO radio show.
Thank you, Donnie. It's always a pleasure to see you. You know, I've always enjoyed your music.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm looking forward to maybe getting you involved in some of our film projects and stuff.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Well, if it's okay, I'll come back next week.
I would love to have you on next week.
Yeah, I started out as a co-host. You know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I had
back
no
on
idea.
Parental Advisory when we did that, and it was Chuck Moe and the E-Man, and I was the co-host, and we would do a 4-hour metal show starting Friday nights at 10, and then at midnight he'd duck out to go get drunk, and then I would go from midnight until as late as I could and play Marilyn Manson and Cannibal Corpse and all that stuff, and just get crazy. And then they got rid of him, and it went from Parental Advisory to the Revolution, and then I changed it to the Evolution when I went to Q102. And now we know what radio is like now.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what would be really cool? And if you're in a metal band right now, go to IndieMOrecords.com. It's INDIEMO records.com. And submit some of your music to us, some of your metal music. I think we should probably have a metal segment, so you can host maybe next week if we get enough submissions.
That'd be cool. I can call Population Zero, and have you dealt with them yet? I
actually haven't. Usually, whenever there's any metal bands, metal shows or anything that I get asked about, I usually just call Joe Bridges because Joe knows everybody.
Joe knows it. Yeah,
he's a lot better at that than me.
Yeah,
with the metal bands and stuff. But
right. Well, we'll do that. Yeah, I'll get a hold of some of the guys, and anybody out there, if you're familiar with what I used to do on the radio, we're going to start trying to do it again a little bit, and we'll just mix it all together.
Yeah, it'll be like Metal Mania or something like that. We'll call it something cool. But yeah, you'll be on the IndieMO radio show, and your segment, I mean, the whole thing, I'm just going to let E-Man host that whole segment because that's your forte.
Put some mood effects on my voice.
Drinking too much. I got one more shot. Who wants to take a shot with me? Yeah, come on. Raise your glasses.